Across the vast expanse of time, mythologies have forged the world. From the depths of chaos to the flames of distant realms, every culture has woven tales of gods, heroes, and celestial wonders. Welcome to Myth to Myth, your mythological portal. Subscribe for more epic journeys. Visit mythtomyth.com and discover all our products. When the monster reached Olympus, even the gods remembered how small a throne can be. The storm has not passed. For days and nights, Zeus has hurled the weapons of the sky against the last and most terrible child of Gaia. Thunderbolts have split mountains, fire has climbed into the clouds, seas have boiled under the strain of powers no mortal tongue could measure. Yet Typhon still comes on, drawing strength from every crack in the earth, every poisoned wind, every tremor that runs through the bones of the world. The first part of this song told of Gaia's silence breaking. It told of Arima, of the womb of stone, of the voice that should not have existed, and of the birth of a storm with hands, wings, serpents, and 100 flaming mouths. It told how Zeus met that horror in the open sky, and how for the first time since the fall of Kronos, the thunderer began to yield. Now the battle reaches the one place it was never meant to touch, Olympus. The mountain of councils, the hall of thrones, the hearth of Hestia, the seat from which Zeus believed the new order would look down upon the world forever. But stone can crack, fire can tremble, gods can flee. And when the sacred height shakes beneath monstrous claws, the question is no longer whether Zeus can defeat Typhon in glory. The question is whether any god will survive long enough to see the sky restored. Stay with us, traveler. The tale descends now into flight, disguise, mutilation, and the darkest hour of the Olympian throne. Driven back but unbroken, Zeus retreats toward the highest peak of his realm, seeking better ground. Typhon follows, surging upward through cloud, claws and serpents tearing the air itself. The summit of Olympus has never known violation. It has been the place of councils and feasts, of decrees and laughter, of petty squabbles and grand designs. Now its marble floors shake as if it were just another mortal mountain. Hestia's hearthfire sputters violently. For a moment the flame almost dies, shrinking to a coal. Around it the empty circle of thrones stands exposed, their occupants scattered to the terraces to watch the approaching horror. Then Typhon appears over the rim. His many heads peer into the great hall, eyes reflecting the sacred fire in a grotesque mockery. Serpents lash out, shattering columns, coiling around statues of gods and crushing them to powder. One huge hand slaps down on the polished floor, cracking it like thin ice. Panic ripples through the gathered immortals. Ares scrambles for his spear, only to be knocked aside by a falling beam. Aphrodite clings to a pillar as it leans, her beauty briefly stripped of all composure. Hermes searches the broken ways out, thought flying ahead of his feet, already seeking how to move others before himself. Dionysus feels the vines around his throne convulse, leaves turning black at the edges under the monster's breath. Athena drags a dazed Hephaestus clear of a collapsing arch, shield raised against falling debris. Hera stands for one heartbeat in the center of the chaos, eyes locked on the oncoming form. She sees the end of all the careful order, hearth, throne, altar, and law that has been built atop Zeus's victory. For just that heartbeat, she weighs flight against the instinct to stand and curse. Then Zeus crashes back onto the terrace, battered, cloak-torn, lightning flickering erratically around him. The sight makes the choice for her. "Zeus," she says, her voice cutting through falling stone. "Send them away. This place can be rebuilt. If we fall, there will be no place left to rebuild from." The word go hangs in the air, the unthinkable order, abandon Olympus. As gods scramble, some feeling strange shapes press beneath their divine skin. Though the change has not yet taken them, others grabbing what they can carry, the monster hauls itself fully onto the sacred height. The palace of the sky shakes under his weight. The age of calm, unquestioned Olympian rule ends in that moment, not with counsel or prophecy, but with the sound of marble cracking under monstrous claws. Olympus is no longer a palace. It is a battlefield collapsing with terrible slowness. Columns lie broken, clouds are stained with ash, and through the shattered arches the many heads of Typhon loom like a living wall of nightmare. Zeus lands hard on the fractured terrace, breath ragged, cloak torn, lightning faltering around his arms. The gods in the hall look to him by instinct, but what they see is not the untouchable victor of the Titanomachy. They see a warrior already wounded, fighting to stand upright against a foe that should not exist. For a heartbeat, pride wrestles with necessity inside him. This is his house, this is his throne. To abandon them feels like a second defeat, layered on the first. But as Typhon's bulk surges closer, crushing statues of gods under serpentine coils, Zeus understands a harsher truth. If they stay, they will die here. If they die here, the world will be left to monsters and blind chance. The order he has labored to impose, imperfect, often cruel, but still order, will vanish. He raises his voice, and the sound cuts through the chaos like a war horn. Go, he commands. All who cannot hold this line with me, leave this height. The house can fall, the house can be rebuilt. The world cannot lose its gods. Some hesitate. Ares grips his spear, unwilling to turn his back on any battle. Artemis snarls, arrow already nocked, every hunter's instinct urging her to stand and fire. Hermes looks from the exit to Zeus, measuring paths and dangers in a heartbeat. Hera's gaze meets Zeus's. They exchange no words, only a look heavy with history. The storms of their marriage, the shared work of rule, the unspoken admission that his reign has never been invulnerable. She nods once. She will obey, for now. Hestia, silent, cups her hearth flame in both hands, trying to keep it from blowing out as the walls tremble. Live, Zeus says, softer but no less fierce. Scatter, change your shapes, hide if you must, but live. The order must survive, even if its throne does not. The command settles over them. One by one they turn from the crumbling hall, from the advancing monster, and prepare to do the unthinkable. Run. They do not simply vanish, they become other things. The first change comes with a kind of instinct older than language. The gods reach not for mortal disguises, but for forms that answer fragments of their own natures, shapes that can carry divine presence into foreign lands without drawing the eyes of a world under assault. Apollo's bright figure blurs, feathers spilling from his shoulders like a shiver of sunlight. In a heartbeat, he is a great bird, hawk-like, wings beating hard against the choking air as he shoots away from the ruined mount, carrying with him the memory of music and prophecy in avian eyes. Hermes' outline thins and narrows. His staff seems to melt into a long curved beak. In his place flaps an ibis, black and white, clever-eyed, already charting paths along rivers and marshes where few would think to look for him. Dionysus laughs once, sharp and almost bitter, then drops to all fours. Horns curl from his brow as his legs knot into the wiry strength of a goat. His new hooves strike sparks from the stone as he bounds away, a creature half wild, half sacred, the echo of vineyards and madness compressed into a single leaping form. Artemis's body arches, shrinks and flows into the lithe grace of a cat. Her eyes, now slit-pupilled, still burn with cold lunar focus. She vanishes among the shadows, a whisper of fur and silent paws. Ares, more used to steel than scales, grits his teeth as his warlike form dissolves into something slick and cold. He becomes a fish, muscles built for lunging, now made for sudden darts through water. It is a humiliation he will not forget, but he accepts it for the sake of survival. Hephaestus, heavy and limping, thickens into a broad-shouldered ox. His strength remains in the massive neck and shoulders, the quiet endurance of a beast that has known both burden and power. Leto, ever the long-suffering mother, shrinks smallest of all. She becomes a shrew mouse, tiny and quick, used to slipping unseen along walls and through cracks. Within that modest shape, the dignity of one who bore twin gods does not entirely fade. Hera's regal form thickens and darkens. Some later singers will remember her here, as a white-horned cow, heavy with dignity even in flight, eyes wide and watchful. Demeter does not take a shape the song can name with certainty. A grain-colored form passes through the smoke, swift and low, and for one breath, the scent of wheat lingers where she vanished. Aphrodite's brightness breaks into a pale flash over the sea mist. Later, traditions will quarrel over whether wing or scale carried her away. Tonight, the song leaves only the shimmer of beauty fleeing toward the Nile. Zeus himself will be linked by later singers to the ram-horned memory of this flight. For now, he stands at the threshold of Olympus as the others flee, watching his pantheon break apart into a scattered company of sacred beasts streaking toward the horizon. In the deep future, men along the Nile will carve shapes remembering this exodus, gods with animal heads and bodies, divine figures with beaks and horns. But for now, it is simply flight. The King of Gods draws a last lightning-laced breath on his shattered mountain and turns toward the storm. The gods do not all travel together. They scatter across the sky and sea, carried in their new bodies by instinct and terror. Yet many of them, as if drawn by an unseen convergence of water and memory, find themselves descending toward the great southern river the Greeks will later call Nalos. The sun is lowering when they arrive. The storm born of Typhon has not yet fully reached this land. The sky here is red gold, the air heavy and still, the river gleaming like a coiled serpent of light between bands of dark, fertile earth. A hawk circles high above the reeds, heart pounding with something like shame. The ibis follows the slow curves of the water, feet trailing along the surface with each beat of its wings. A goat appears briefly on a rocky outcrop, then clambers down toward the cover of scrub. A cat slips between stones and reeds, disappearing into the half-shadow near the riverbank. A fish breaks the surface for an instant, gulping air before vanishing again into the murk. On the banks, human eyes watch. The people of this land do not know these gods by name. They know only the signs, an unusual gathering of animals, arriving all at once from the direction of a sky gone strange. They murmur among themselves, sensing that something enormous is being played out far from their fields, yet somehow touching them. In a patch of dense reeds, the goat trembles, breath steaming. The cat's fur lies flat, but its muscles are taut. The ibis cleans its feathers with precise, anxious motions. The ox, standing knee-deep in water, lowers its head, horns reflecting the dying light. Near the roots, a tiny shrew mouse slips under woven reeds and vanishes. A quiet falls among them that has nothing to do with the evening. For the first time in their existence, the Olympians taste the raw fear of prey. They could speak even like this. They could call out to each other in divine thought, but no one does. They are listening to the far-off rumble of battle still echoing from the north, to the strange heartbeat of a land not yet woven into the stories of Olympus, to their own pulse pounding in bodies that were never meant to be so small. On the horizon, faint but growing, a dark bloom rises into the sky. It is not a thundercloud, not entirely. It is a stain, ash from distant mountains torn open, smoke from forests burning under the passage of something that walks. They have fled. The question that hangs over the reeds is whether their king has as well, or whether he still stands alone between the world and the thing that hunts it. He has not fled. While his companions streak southward, Zeus does not follow them into animal skin. He remains in the high places between sky and earth, battered but still burning with a kind of furious clarity. For days he has fought without rest, without retreat, trading blow for blow with a monster that does not tire. His armor of cloud is shredded. His voice, once capable of shaking mountains with a single word, is hoarse from shouting commands to winds that no longer fully obey. But he has not fled. Not yet. Olympus is lost for now. To cling to it would be to die there, crushed beneath Typhon's claws like a fallen eagle beneath a stone. But the world is larger than one mountain, and there are other heights from which to fight. Typhon moves eastward, dragging storms and earthquakes in his wake. The land buckles under him. Zeus follows at a distance, harrying the monster with lightning strikes whenever he can, trying to steer him away from the places where mortals gather most thickly, away from the new shrines and altars that have begun to close the distance between gods and men. This is not an even pursuit. Each thunderbolt costs Zeus more. Each blow he takes from Typhon rattles the very beams of his kingship, yet he keeps moving, keeps throwing, keeps forcing the creature to turn toward places where a final stand might be possible. He remembers what Athena said, "Force it away from the heart of the world, use the mountain and the sea." At last, Typhon's path curves toward a particular prominence on the edge of the eastern sea, a peak the Greeks will call Kasios. It rises like a jagged tooth on the Syrian coast, at the edge of the road toward Cilicia, a place where land and water meet in a sharp, storm-beaten spine. Zeus feels the shape of it through the paths of the wind and knows if there is any place where he can anchor this battle, it is here. Far from Olympus, far from settled plains, a place where, if he falls, the wreckage will mostly break rock and foam instead of cities. He gathers what strength remains, calls the last reserves of ordered storm to him, and dives toward Kasios. This is not the path of triumph. It is the choice to bind ruin to one place. He has already abandoned his palace. Now he risks abandoning his body, if that is what it takes to keep the monster from tearing the world's center to pieces. Mount Kasios rises out of the coastal plain like a fist. Storm clouds already cling to its peak, torn ragged by the clash of divine weather above. Zeus lands on its summit, boots striking bare rock. Lightning clusters around him, forming a crown of pale fire. He can feel the sea at his back, Poseidon's realm restless and ready, and the deep earth beneath his feet, Gaia's wounded body shifting uneasily. Typhon comes like an avalanche on legs. The monster's approach turns the sky black, his many heads snapping and hissing, his serpent limbs grinding boulders to dust. When he reaches the base of Kasios, he does not climb in any normal sense. He pulls himself up by driving coils and claws into the mountain, tearing chunks free and letting them tumble into the sea. Zeus does not wait for him to reach the top. He hurls thunderbolt after thunderbolt downward, turning the slope into a white-hot staircase of impacts. For a few moments, the barrage slows Typhon. Charred rock slides, several of his lesser heads, struck squarely, fall away in shards of molten stone. But the creature's main body pushes through, blackened but not broken. Where lightning gouges, molten stone foams up to fill the gaps. Kasios itself shudders under the strain, as if unsure whether it is crown or anvil. At last, Typhon's upper mass rears over the summit. Zeus meets him not as distant Skylord, but as grappler. Every reserve of strength drawn from days of unrelenting combat, condensed into this final, desperate stand. He lunges forward, hands glowing, and locks his arms around the monster's central neck, trying to force the head back, trying to turn that fire-lit gaze away from the open world. It becomes a wrestling match, dark against the storm. God and monster, legs braced on cracking stone, muscles straining. Lightning flashes around them, not thrown now, but spilling wildly from Zeus's skin with every exertion. For a moment, it seems as if he might manage it. His grip tightens. Typhon's central head tilts back a fraction. The shrieking chorus of lesser heads falters. For one terrible instant, Zeus reaches for the adamantine sickle at his side, meaning to press the advantage before the monster can recover. His hand closes around the old curved blade. Then the balance shifts. Typhon is made of Earth's stubbornness and Abyss's refusal to yield. He twists with a force that ignores pain, ignoring the blasts of lightning still ripping into his flesh. One massive arm tears free and slams into Zeus's side. Another claws at the ground, gaining leverage. Serpent coils wrap around the god's legs, pinning them. Zeus's footing slips. The mountain under him cracks. Kasios, chosen as a place to anchor the battle, becomes instead the stage of his undoing. Once Zeus's balance is broken, Typhon moves with terrifying swiftness. He drives the god-king to the rock, slamming him down so hard that the summit of Kasios splinters. Lightning bursts outward in a wild, uncontrolled ring, scorching the air and sealing patches of stone beneath a shining crust. The shock echoes along the coast, toppling trees and flinging waves outward. Zeus tries to rise. He cannot. Serpents coil around his arms, pinning them. Another nest of scaled bodies cinches tight around his ankles, crushing divine bone against the mountain. His thunderbolts slip from his grasp, rolling away to crackle harmlessly against the broken peak. For the first time, raw physical restraint holds him. Typhon leans over him, central head lowering until those fire-filled eyes stare directly into Zeus's. The laughter that rumbles out of that many-mouthed maw is not human and not animal. It is stone exulting, hurricane triumphant, vengeance laid upon a king who thought himself beyond it. Somewhere in the chaos, a glint of metal catches the stormlight. Zeus's hand has closed around the adamantine sickle, cruel and ancient as the memory of the first rebellion. Typhon sees the flash. With one colossal hand, he wrenches the old curved blade from Zeus's grasp. The weapon once turned against Uranus now gleams in the hand of Earth's last-born son. He lifts it. The cut he makes is not at the throat. It is more cruel than that. With grotesque precision, he slices into Zeus's wrists and ankles, not to sever, but to carve out. Divine sinews, bright as braided lightning, snap free under the blade. They spill into Typhon's grasp like ropes of pale fire still twitching, still trying to return to their rightful bones. Pain explodes through Zeus's body, a white-hot bloom that radiates outward along every nerve of heaven. His muscles convulse, then fall slack. He tries to summon a bolt, a gust, any sign of his lordship over storm, and nothing answers. His hands will not close, his feet will not brace. The pathways between will and world have been cut. Typhon holds the bundle of tendons up in triumph. The sight is profane. The king's strength reduced to a handful of cords, stripped from him as cruelly as a hand drawing strings from a broken bow. Zeus lies on the shattered peak, not dead but undone. He is a mind in a body that can no longer obey, a sovereign whose scepter has been torn from his grasp and tied into a knot in the hands of his enemy. The sky feels it. Clouds sag. The ordered winds falter. For a heartbeat, the sun itself seems unsure how brightly it should shine. Typhon wastes no time savoring his victory. The point of this mutilation is not merely humiliation, it is imprisonment. He wraps the stolen tendons in a rough bundle, hiding them in the skin of a bear, as if even the wild strength of the beast were needed to hold their restless energy. The bundle pulses faintly, lightning leaking from its seams, but Typhon's grip is iron. Earth and abyss reinforce his hold. Zeus, stripped of his sinews, lies where he fell. He tries to rise and manages only the smallest twitch. His limbs are heavy and foreign to him, as if someone had replaced them with carved stone. The god who once hurled mountains now cannot lift his own hand from the broken rock. Typhon does not even bother to kill him. Death would be a release, a clean break. Instead, he coils serpents around Zeus's torso and legs, lifts him onto his monstrous shoulders, and carries him from Kasios across the sea toward Cilicia. The journey is disorienting. The landscape lurches and reels below as Typhon drives along the broken coast toward Cilicia, carving a path through cliff and valley. From Zeus's vantage, half conscious, he sees only flashes, the gleam of the sea retreating behind them, the jagged outlines of new-formed ravines, the smear of forests torn up in passing. He recognizes the region by feel more than sight. Cilicia, a land of coasts and caves, of inlets where the sea bites into the rock, of hollow mountains riddled with hidden chambers. It is here that Typhon seeks a place to hide his trophy and his prisoner. At last the monster descends into a ravine where the air smells of salt and sulfur. A narrow opening gapes in the cliffside, half hidden by twisted shrubs and hanging stone. Typhon squeezes through, dragging his bound god and carrying the bearskin-wrapped tendons close. Inside, the light dims to a red gloom. The walls glisten with mineral sweat. The floor is strewn with old bones, beasts that took refuge here from storms less terrible than the one outside and never left. Zeus feels the cool, damp breath of the cave on his face as Typhon hauls him deeper in. The realization settles. He is being set aside, like a weapon that has been broken, but not discarded. He is being placed out of the way, in a darkness that might never again see the open sky. At the back of the cavern, a deeper pocket yawns, a socket in the stone waiting to be filled. Typhon lays Zeus down just outside that inner chamber, like an afterthought, and moves on with the bundle of sinews toward a further darkness. The inner hollow of the cave is already occupied. Coiled within it lies a creature that is both familiar and utterly its own. From the waist up, she has the form of a woman, though on a scale that matches monsters, not mortals. Arms corded with strength, hair a tangle of dark, scaled tendrils, eyes like chips of emerald caught in shadow. From the waist down, her body flows into a long, powerful serpent's tail, scales the color of damp stone and old bronze. This is Delphyne, the Dracana of Cilicia. Around her, other serpents nest and writhe, some small enough to curl in her palm, others thick as a man's torso. They slide over her arms and shoulders as if she were an extension of the cave itself, a living knot of all the reptilian, hidden, venomous things that haunt the imaginations of shepherds and sailors. She lifts her head as Typhon enters, sensing his victory before she sees the proof. Her forked tongue tastes the air, catching the metallic tang of divine ichor and the crackle of captive lightning. Typhon extends the bearskin bundle. It twitches in his grasp like a captured animal. Delphine's gaze narrows, intrigued. These, the gesture says without words, are the king's tendons. Guard them. She uncoils partially, sliding closer, the smaller serpents flowing with her like a living cloak. With hands, both woman and dragon, she takes the bundle. At her touch, the restless, glowing cords inside thrash, trying to leap back toward their rightful owner. She squeezes, and the movement subsides, smothered in her grip. Delphyne carries the bundle to a niche in the wall, where the rock arches inward like a jaw. There she deposits it, coiling her tail around the base, arranging her coils and her flock of serpents in a living barrier. Any creature trying to reach that bundle would face not only her venom, but that of a dozen lesser snakes, all fangs and instinct. Behind her, from the outer chamber, the faint sound of Zeus's breathing echoes. He is close enough to sense that something vital has been removed and placed just beyond his reach, but too weak to crawl toward it. Delphyne settles herself, head resting on folded arms, eyes half-lidded but watchful. She is patient. She is used to the slow time of caves, where stalactites grow by drops and bones turn to dust grain by grain. If Typhon is the storm that walks, Delphyne is the quiet aftermath that ensures nothing of the old order creeps back unpermitted. Far away to the west, the peak that once blazed with divine presence sits under a sky gone strangely quiet. Olympus has not vanished. The mountain is still there, its ridges and slopes still visible to mortal eyes, but the quality of it has changed. The sheen of perpetual dawn that once crowned its summit has dulled. The air around it feels thinner, less saturated with unseen power. Inside the Great Hall, the damage from Typhon's incursion remains. Columns lie fractured, some toppled entirely, others leaning at uneasy angles. Shards of marble and gold litter the floor. Statues of gods, once perfect and idealized, are cracked or headless, their frozen smiles shattered. Hestia's hearth is the clearest symbol of the change. The sacred fire that once burned there, steady as the pulse of the cosmos, is now a mere ember. A weak flame clings stubbornly to the blackened logs, fluttering whenever the wind finds its way through broken walls. It does not go out, but it no longer radiates the calm assurance it once did. The empty thrones loom around it, dark shapes against the dim. The seat that Hestia surrendered, veiled in luminous vines when Dionysus took his place among the 12, looks particularly strange now. The vines have withered, their leaves hang limp, color leached to a sickly gray-green. A few shriveled grapes cling to the stems, reminders of festivals that feel very far away. Lyres lie on the floor, strings snapped. Craters are overturned, their spilt contents long since evaporated. The echo of laughter that once seemed built into the very stones is gone. Outside, altars in cities and villages still smoke with offerings. Mortals still raise their hands, expecting the usual weight of divine attention to descend. The familiar warmth of a favor granted, the sharp chill of a slight noted. For the first time since the Olympians claimed the sky, the answers come slower. Prayers hang in the air a little longer before finding a listener, as if the sound has to travel farther. The cosmos has not collapsed. Hades still keeps his watch below. Poseidon still holds back some measure of the sea's fury. Hera and Demeter still labor to preserve what lives. But there is a new, raw hole where the center used to be. The mountain feels it keenly. Olympus, once the heart of a confident new order, now sits like a palace after a sack, waiting to learn whether its former ruler will return or whether some new hand or claw will claim it. Back in Cilicia, in an outer chamber of the Cilicia cave not far from Delphine's inner lair, a broken king lies in the dark. Zeus has been left there by Typhon, dumped on a bed of cold stone like discarded armor. The serpents that bound him have slithered away to attend their master. The air smells of damp earth and salt, carried faintly from the distant sea. He tries once more to move his hand. The command is clear inside him: lift, clench, summon. The flesh responds with nothing. The cords of motion have been taken from him. Command finds no path through flesh. The arm remains where it is, heavy and inert. He reaches inward for lightning, for the old passage between will and storm. A weak spark flickers through his chest, then dies. The pathways that connected him to the sky have been cut. The thunder cannot travel from his breast into hand or foot. He is not mortal. He will not bleed as mortals bleed, nor wither for lack of bread. Time cannot rot him as it rots men and beasts. But in this state, immortality and invulnerability become a different kind of prison. He could lie here, conscious and helpless, for centuries. The thought lands with more weight than any boulder Typhon threw. He listens. From somewhere beyond the cave's mouth comes a distant roar, Typhon, triumphant, shaking mountains and seas as he strides through a world without an active, reigning Sky Lord to stop him. Each bellow drives another crack through the order Zeus built. From another direction, muffled by layers of stone, he feels the faint lightning prickle of his own stolen sinews, thrashing occasionally under Delphine's guard. They are close enough to sense and too far to reclaim. The frustration is a constant throb. In the underworld, Hades stands before his gates and does not move. In the seas, Poseidon labors to keep the worst of the chaos from swallowing coastlines whole. On Olympus, Hestia's ember clings to life. On the Nile, a hawk, an ibis, a goat, a cat, a fish, an ox, and a tiny shrew mouse hide in reeds and shadows, wondering if there is any path back from this. Somewhere above all this, the remembering voices that framed the tale speak again. Thus, for a time, the sky lay without a king. The thunder had been silenced at its source. The world spun on, wounded and astonished, under a storm that answered to no familiar hand. Whether Zeus would rise again, whether cunning and courage could steal back what brute force had taken, whether this was the end of one order or merely its dark midnight, those were questions for another song, another part of the story. For now, the song holds this image: Zeus motionless in his cave, Delphine coiled watchful around a bearskin bundle that crackles faintly with stolen power, Typhon's shadow passing over mountains far away, and the faint, sorrowful chorus of the muses acknowledging not a final defeat, but a terrible necessary low point. And so, for that dreadful span of time, the sky was left without a king. Subscribe for more epic journeys. Visit myth2myth.com and discover all our products.